All right, on this week's ep, we have got so much to talk about. Alistair, kick us off.
Oh man. Um. Well. Oh. Well. You go. You go.
Well, of course, there's the.
Hmm.
Well, this is awkward. G'day, mates. Welcome back in. We are back with another episode, or should I say goodbye, for the end of Sorare and Under for Season 2. I mean, look.
No! No!
Alistair, it's been a good run, but, we're busy boys. I've got mustaches to grow. You've got small babies to, keep alive.
Wait a minute!
What?
And I guess as an elite athlete that puts myself in that division of the top type of Sorare managers, I've got SO5 to deal with. And, I need to put my priorities straight. I'm an off-season boy. So we thought it was time for a little hiatus.
So you're saying that the reason you've been so shit at Sorare is because the podcast has just been taking up too much of your elite athlete brain space?
Absolutely. Yeah. If it, the hour I dedicate to podcasting per week, I'd definitely be using that, lineup builders, scouting,
Getting on a plays,
deep
Harper.
Twitter researches on my Korean boys.
Yeah, learning Korean. I mean, let's not forget what it takes if you really want to make it in this game. Now, you mentioned your moustache there, Simon. Now, I must say, it's coming along nicely. It's not too bad.
Confidence, euphoria, faith in the criminal justice system, telekinesis.
I'm a bit of a fan, I must say.
I think I'm only, one more Sorare season away from having one of those cool Chinese one that comes all the way down.
Oh, the cool Chinese ones. I do like those.
It's on track.
Okay, I know. It's looking thick. It's looking plentiful. I'm gonna change this lighting because I am a little bit sick. I might have the ro. Who knows? But I look like I'm on death's door. So I'm gonna just blue under the sea.
That's worse.
That's worse. There we go. Nice summer tan. That'll have to do.
Immediately made it worse.
It was tough.
It's a nighttime podcast.
I'm not going to lie, being in the public eye of our, 700 subscribers on YouTube, it got to me a little bit.
Many.
I don't know how Kim K does it. Poor Kate Middleton. No wonder she got photoshopped into that image because, look, some people have been coming after my mustache and I've been getting put in some Discord chats and look, there's evidence. There's evidence, Alistair, where I've texted you, I've texted close friends, and I've said, Alistair, I don't know if I can take it. I'm copping some heat for this mo.
You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm going to kill you. Give me $200.
But I persevered. One of my friends said to me, mate, you look like absolute shit without a mo. And I was like, bro, I haven't had a mo for 21 years. What are you saying?
Wow. What a horrific backhanded compliment that is.
Yeah. Ouch.
Oh, look, man. I mean, we've all got our crosses to our burdens to carry.
What?
What they say when in Rome. When in Rome, you gotta do what the Romans do. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm proud of you for sticking to it. It's a strong look. I mean, I guess you got to stick with it now. If you look like absolute shit without it, you're going to be one of those guys now where it's like your entire life is just your mustache is now your new identity.
Yeah, and well, I'll be off growing my mustache, which I think you could argue probably takes the same amount of effort. You're going to be raising a human.
Yeah.
Some would say pretty important job.
Yeah, mustache, baby. Yeah, I've got a baby coming out of my tummy in a couple of months. So I'll be, once I've set my Sorare lineups, of course, then I'll get on to, tending the youngin. So that's kind of like, I guess, part of the reason why we're going to take a bit of a break is I'll be preoccupied for a little while.
I'm not going to lie, Alistair. I never said anything, but I was wondering, like, I've heard that, early stages of childhood can be pretty hectic. Parents aren't sleeping.
You're like delirious, you're just confused and tired, and she was like crying for like 6 hours, and I was like sitting there, I was like, wait, are we supposed to shake this baby?
And I was wondering how your marriage, we know that Sorare saved your marriage. If Sorare was going to ruin your marriage when, you're going, hey, babe, look, I know you haven't slept in 2 days, but can you just go look after the baby? I've got a podcast to record about fantasy sports.
Yeah, I mean, it'll all be worth it when I get that referral reward from, buying 5 cards on the market under my daughter's alias. So it'll all be worth it. But yeah, we literally just spoke about that. I was like, yep, I'm going to go record the podcast. And she's like, how are you going to do this in a couple of months' time? I'm like, good question. It's a good question.
But yeah, I think, and also like last week, or the past couple of weeks, we've noticed that European season's ending. Obviously, they've made the changes, but they're not fully installed until a couple of months. So we're kind of in this like little waiting period. We're in the waiting room of Sorare. And, we're saying off air before we jumped on today how you were saying that anytime that anything happens, like it's not even anything major, all the Sorare podcasts are jumping on, talking about it, having really beautiful intellectual conversations, bringing nice new perspectives to the news. And then we're coming on, in our Australian time, 5 days late to the party, being like, well, it's happening, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really fair because we're in the future, as we know. We're the first. We are literally in the future. But unfortunately, Sorare is in the past, and they announce all their big announcements at like 2 a.m. our time. So we wake up and everyone's already got their hot takes out there, and then we come in and just throw our weight around. But I think we can both agree that like the last month or so, it's kind of like the new changes are here. Everyone's adapting to it. And I feel like maybe we just didn't have that much new stuff to offer. So we'll take a break. We'll, enjoy some MLS, and obviously you'll enjoy the Asian leagues. I mean, this is your time to shine, Simon. I mean, like you said, you can't be wasting time on a podcast when you'll be out there winning, tier 1 contender boys. Take a couple of breaks. I think we'll still do stuff between now and when we come back officially for season 3, won't we? Like, I mean, transfer window's coming up. Obviously, that's a big time for us. Moon or Doom. We could do a couple of specials. Dead Guys of Sorare, which is a very popular episode of ours. Last transfer window. Got the Euros coming up. So there's stuff we can be doing here and there, but we're just not going to be like regularly committing to a podcast once a week.
Yeah, and I think something we enjoy doing is the skits, and I know you guys like that as well. So not all hope is lost. We're not going forever, and you never know. We might even appear on some other podcasts, special guest appearances. Who knows?
If anyone wants to have us back, or if anyone wants to have us on, you can contact us directly through Twitter, and all you have to do is pay a pretty reasonable appearance fee, and we'll come on, no worries, no questions asked.
And I think our appearance on Make It a Double Double proved that we are willing to literally do anything to get on a podcast. I mean, we were sculling red wine at 7, 6 a.m., so like we'll go to any length to get on your podcast.
Get us on. We'll literally do anything.
Anything.
Please love us. Please.
Love me. Love me.
Alster. Now, this is a very exciting time for me. You might have noticed I've come in pretty chipper. I'm up and about because, I hate to say it, the hopes are up. The hopes are well and truly up. A double
you need to
game
brush
week
up on your Old Testament
for Kim Sung-young had me very excited. And going into this... What's that?
Just said double G.
Had me very excited because I've got my Kim Sung-young, and look, rolled out a 50. Bang average, pretty poor. Not on the prizes.
No.
But the beautiful thing of the double game, second crack at the cherry.
Yeah.
Very tough fixture, but it's not stopping my hopes at all. And I don't know, I've been kind of in a... For me, Alistair, have I been in a little bit of form, perhaps?
You're just certainly getting some momentum.
Like, I feel like I'm moving into this off-season with the wheels are in motion. I'm doing this without Cecilia, and I don't know, Alistair. I can't wait for us to insert something in here later where it's gone completely wrong. He's rolled out a 35, but I just have a feeling I
give
have
him
a
rest.
feeling tonight's the night.
I mean, this is an opportunity to. I've never been on this side of the puddle before, where it's Tuesday night, Simon. The game week's over. Everyone else is going to bed. They're like, everything should be sweet. I'm sitting in top 10. Nothing could go wrong. And then some dickhead has a K-League game at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday just before the deadline, and they take over everyone. This could be you, Simon. You could break some hearts where your heart has been broken in the past. You could get your revenge finally.
Could you tell him that justice is waiting for him?
Is waiting for you. Okay, Justin. Thank you. Bye-bye.
No justice.
It's my new era as the villain. I kind of like it. I could ease into it.
Yeah. Kind of jealous.
And I think I think we've talked about this in the past, but it is better, in my opinion, I think, to have the player go last than first.
Oh,
like,
100%.
At the moment, I'm like, I've got nothing. So whatever I get that's a bonus. But it's when your player is in the first day of the game week and you've got the sweat and you're just watching yourself tumble and tumble down the rankings.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah.
People always go on about the Friday curse, like, oh, my players did poorly, my game week's over. That does suck. That's a bit of a tough feeling. But the number of times, Simon, where I've gone to bed on a Sunday night here in Australia. Now, the action for us here down under takes place. You get the odd Saturday morning fixture for us. Most of it takes place Sunday morning, Monday morning, and then you've got the weirdos on Tuesday that come in and ruin everything for everyone. So often, Saturday and Sunday goes really well, and I'm just like, hopes are up, nothing could go wrong. And of course, most of the games that my players are participating in happen overnight, Sunday night. I wake up Monday morning, I'm ready to go to work. It's already tough enough to get out of bed as it is. I roll over, check my notifications, and it's just chaos across the board. It's just a whimper, an absolute letdown from all of my boys, and I think I'd rather have it just taken away from me early on.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's never forget my Johnny Russell moment. Like that's respectfully, I wanted to kill myself.
Respectfully. I would understand. I would have understood. I would have carried on podcast without you. I would have been like, "Yep, that's fair. That's fair. That's on the approved list of reasons to kill yourself."
Yeah, this game week, you had quite the unique lineup, and this props to Sorare, I guess. The little rule, I guess, I don't know if many people actually use it, where you can drop players down into your teams. Now, it's kind of like, oh, well, if you've got a super rare, why on earth would you play it in a limited lineup? Everything else for you this week went pretty poorly, but I must say, your one lineup that smashed, didn't see that one coming, Alistair.
You know when you just know it? You know when you just know it? Like last week when you didn't put in or the week before, you didn't put in it was a limited lineup or a Cap 240 lineup, or you didn't put a lineup in and they smashed. And you just know, like you get that notification for the game that your player would have been in, and you're like, it's going to be my guy. My guy's scored a hat trick. Yep, I knew it. With this team, Simon, so I talk about degen behavior. I was like, I've got too many super rares and not enough places to put them. I don't have enough goalkeepers to fill my super rare lineups. So I was like, well, I've got these kind of crappy super rares. I've got some crappy rares. I'm going to go out and buy a limited goalkeeper, emulate the great god himself, Pranksy, go and buy a bunch of limited goalkeepers so I can roll out my super rares in the limited division. Now, how's this for ambition, Simon? Limited contender, boys. Division 4. Shoot for the stars, baby. Look at this lineup. This is atrocious. Talk about stars will be stars. Let's have a look here. Okay.
Who are those guys?
So this is probably the first thing that my fucking Wolfsburg collection has done for me in the entirety of me owning them, is this Josip Brekalo banging out 100 for Zagreb now. No, not Zagreb.
Hajduk Split.
Hajduk Split, as you know them very well. Kelly Roos, I just was like, yep, he's playing. He was like $8, bangs out cleanly. old Chinnen. So I'm breaking all the rules here, Simon. This was a card that I bought for a single game week, and we all know that for those of us who remember the Old Testament, that is a sin. Never buy a player for one game week. Bought him for one game week. He was sitting just dying in my gallery for no reason. Bring him back in and talk about like the serendipitousness. I got the notification as I was getting off the plane from where I got back to the Gold Coast, got off the plane, got the notification. I was like, I bet you it's this fucking guy that I bought. Sure enough, he's a forward playing as central defensive midfielder, never gets on the decisive sheet. Bang, gets an assist. And I'm sitting pretty, so I'm currently on for like a tier 2 limited and contender limited, which will be like a $7 card, but I'm stoked. That's all I want. That's all I want is to win high tier cards, no matter what they look like or what they're worth.
Now, look, this is Sorare, baby. That's sweet, sweet utility. You know, look, you might not be able to play it in the lineup you want, but that utility's still there. That utility doesn't go away. You know, Philip Hayes. Who would have thought that he'd be in a lineup winning, a reward winning lineup this week?
I know. I mean, if anyone wants to come and buy these, certified smashers for me for, 3 times their worth, you're more than welcome. They've got game-winning experience, so my DMs are open. I
also think it does show, though, that, wow, honestly, like, talk about cheat codes in this new era of Sorare, hundreds of the new cheat code. If you can get 100 from your captain, even if...
Hundreds of the new cheat code, yeah.
God damn it, Gump! You're a goddamn genius!
Just go and score hundreds. It's not that hard.
Just you figured it out there, Simon. Oh my god.
Alston, we can't let this podcast go out.
This all wrong.
We can't tell them our secrets. Shut it down.
Keep it under your lid, mate.
Shut it
down. Not everybody knows about this, and nor should they.
Oh, from the tactical genius that is Simon Rathbone, hundreds are the new game breaker. But yes, hundreds are.
Feels like an appropriate time to say that I'm feeling good. I'm ready to be an off-season boy. Now, most people, they've got their Real Madrid stacks. They've got their Liverpool stacks. I'm ready to roll out my Asian boys. Ready to be the king of the dweebs.
Yep.
Second Division Europe can fuck off, honestly.
Absolutely. Yeah, Marvin can pack it.
We said last week, it's a tough world being a bargain basement boy, hoping that Shunta Tanaka snares a decisive. But all of a sudden, I feel like I'm back on a level playing field. And I feel like this is the time where I'm probably going to win dog shit rewards, but I could be winning. And I feel like maybe it's the optimism in me. I feel like amongst my small gallery, I feel like I've got some good pieces that complement each other.
Yeah. I think you're reaping the rewards of just buying some cards and then just letting them figure themselves out. Like Simon and both of us, a year ago, 2 years ago, we would have bought a bunch of new cards for a brand new strategy. The hopes are up. They didn't do well the first couple of weeks. Sell them at a massive loss. Completely pivot into a new strategy. But you're just like, you got this new zen about you, Simon. You've been meditating over your short, break from Sorare. You've come back with a new lease on life, and you're just like, hey, que sera, sera. What will be, will be. And sure enough, they're coming good for you. It's great.
Yeah, it's definitely my attitude and not my complete lack of care or willingness to go out and buy new cards. But I like that. That sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not apathy; it's zen.
In saying that, now I do want to wrap up the season that was very shortly, but just a little bit of a strategy talk to squeeze in there. Sho Sasaki. Dare I say?
We sure we want to talk about this?
Is it time to move off the goat?
How dare you?
A lot of decisives, Elster. Not much AA.
Well, he's obviously just, a decisive gun now. He's just he's in amongst everything. I don't want to say too much because, yeah, I think Sho might be dust. Don't tell anyone. You might be dust.
God, this is the most exclusive podcast we've ever released.
Trade secrets. When players don't score as well, they're not as good anymore.
Maybe he bleached his hair too much. No, that's
but-
what. Oh my god, that's why he's only getting decisives because he
'cause he's a
re-bleached the
blonde
hair.
boy. Of
He's a blonde
course.
boy. He's
Of
no longer an
course.
AA fella with his, poo-colored brown. He's a bleached blonde.
Maybe we need to get him to shave his head, and he can be like a. I'm trying to think of a shaved head player that's good. He can be like Pepe, banging out the the AA at the back there.
The Asian
Just
pep, as
two
they call him.
old bald bitches racking up AA. I'm here for it.
Oh,
He would be
strength.
a freakish looking man if he shaved his head. Don't do it, show. Please don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Simon, we talked about we touched on briefly of the off season coming up, contenders where you'll be playing. Obviously, you pretty much just got J League, K League, Argentina, Mexico, and then Darwin Quintero. So I think it's actually like the perfect time for you because you won't have the second division guys coming in and kind of messing up your shit. You also won't be winning second division guys. Now, I know technically second division Europe players are probably actually better players than anyone you're going to win in Liga MX or, K League or J League specifically. But I don't know about you, but I don't get excited if I win a second division guy. I'd be excited if I won like a good K League player because I know who they are. It feels like, if they feel a bit closer to home. But the second division guys, I never quite forgave them for completely crashing the Sorare market and ruining my hopes and dreams. So I hate them all. And it's also kind of like, second division, not quite good enough, is it? Not quite didn't quite make it. It's kind of like running a half marathon, But the K League and the J League boys, they're at the pinnacle of the Asian game.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I mean,
winners.
they're the best of the rest.
I don't know what runners up.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think with the Asian K League guys, I think we've talked about in the past, but it's not, especially the J League, it's not a crazy dominant league. Even the guys in the best teams, it's pretty even, which is good for the defensive guys. But I think that pairs up a little bit better with the Mexican, Argentinian leagues. Because we don't have this case of like the top Division 2 German team versus literally, Uncle Franich's best 11 from the farm,
Hate that team. Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much up against River Plate stacks and Tigres stacks. I'm trying to think if there's any others. Like I said, Darwin Quintero. If anyone figures out how to put 5 Darwin Quinteros in a team, then you'll absolutely print this season. Now, it raises an interesting point for me, Simon. Obviously, now that you've got those other pesky Russians and pesky, farmer French league farmer boys out of the way, are you tempted at all to throw a bit of that pocket money down, pick up some in-season boys and try and play for some cash?
What are you talking about?
Does that wet your whistle?
J League boys?
Well, you could stick to a league and then I'm assuming they'll do, like they're obviously just about to do the J, or they're doing the J League special currently, or they're about to do it. I'm sure that they'll do more than one over the course of the entire off-season, you'd have to think. They'll do an Argentinian one, they'll do a Mexican one, they'll do some like weird, obviously the Euros, they'll do that, but I can't imagine they've already, run their race on MLS special weeklies or K-League special weeklies.
But Alster, of course, aren't I going to win in-season cards with my classic boys and just win enough to then, progress my way through the game?
No.
I think we're realizing now that for you to do that, you have to win not only 5 times, but you have to hope that each time you win a player in forward, defense, a middle, goalkeeper. Let's just get to 1 first. Let's get 1 under the belt, and then we can maybe think about it. But I think in the meantime, you might need to open up that Velcro wallet of yours and, shove her in the old laptop. That's how you do it, right?
Yeah, it's definitely where it's at, hey. And especially I think with like Contender. I don't know, correct me. Does the Contender in season, what's their cost compared to like a champ in season? I'm assuming it's a little bit less, right?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, quite significantly lower. And I think you can, like you said, with the J League and stuff, you can get some pretty good value new in-season cards, to compete for that cash. And if they do have another round of the K League or J League special, you're ready to go. So yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to kind of do a bit of a deeper dive into whether it would be financially viable. But I think with the divisions there and the less competition, obviously the prize pools won't be as high. But I don't know, it could be fun.
Yeah, could be good. I think it's going to be interesting, looking ahead, the future where the All Stars gone and what, because at the moment we're in sort of the waiting room of it's come, but it's not fully come to fruition of what it's actually going to be like playing Sorare in a couple of months' time. It's going to be very interesting, and maybe it is a case of waiting and sort of seeing what's going on, how it's actually set up.
Yeah, we're in the waiting room of the plastic surgeon. We're getting a nice new set of tits, and we just can't wait to see what they're going to look like come, the springtime. What are you looking forward to? What do you think is gonna? What are your predictions for like the new kind of the August version? Obviously, the Euros will be out of the way. No more cap modes. Euros.
How do you defend yourself against the man with 2 dildos?
You're saying it weird.
Saying what weird? Okay, the Euros are out of the way. It's all divisions. It's all boxes. It's all in season versus classic season. How do you think? Do you think it's going to the moon? Is my question basically.
I don't think that it's going to the moon. I don't think it'll ever go to the moon. But what I will say is I've actually really enjoyed the divisions. I don't know if you felt the same, but
Okay.
I've actually quite liked having the playing contender, having my own, I feel like each week I go in, I'm in with a chance. Obviously, they've got some work to do to fix their rewards, but I like the fact that I'm playing contender against contender guys. I sort of know who I'm up against, whereas I think when I would put a team into All-Star or I felt like, honestly, I felt like I didn't have a chance in the world because there's just so many good players. Whereas this, I'm like, genuinely, there is a chance that I could win this division.
Yeah, you can watch PSV win 8-0 and be like, don't care.
Yeah, and as much as I enjoyed playing Champ Asia, and I think losing Champ Asia hurt me a lot because I think I would have done really well if that stuck around for a few more months.
True.
I've also really liked the challenge of being like, ooh, do I play in Div 1 or do I play in Div 4? Which, yes, that shouldn't be an issue. Like, it should be a simple step, but I like it as an extra element of like, okay, what are my matchups this week? I reckon looking at this, I think I'm better to go Div 4 and try and do well. But then this week I've got really good matchups. Let's go for gold. Let's have ambition. Let's go in Div 1.
Now, that's an interesting take on it. I also like the fact that I think the region split up is really good. I like the fact that I no longer have to try and make an America team and an Asia team and a second division Europe team. I can kind of just smush them all together and make multiple teams from the same region. The divisions, I think, are a little trickier in that it's really going to be interesting to see between now and after the Euros. Whether the divisions, at the moment, the divisions don't really make sense. You can choose which one you're going to put it in, but there's no real rhyme or reason to it. Like, you could be like, I'm going to just be King of the Dweebs and go Division 4, and then all of a sudden, all the whales are in Division 4 and they just smash it, and you need to score 500 points to get nothing. Whereas you might put something in Div 1 and score 306 points and win a Tier 2. There's no logic or rhyme or reason to it at the moment. And I think if that does work itself out to a point where you just slot into the division that you should be in. Now, you mentioned there, like, oh, will I have ambition or will I be King of the Dweebs? You won't get to choose that, obviously, because you'll be promoted and relegated. So once that mechanic starts to work, once that mechanism starts to work, you kind of, I think people will just start to settle into the divisions that they should be in,
Yeah, but I think I'm going to like the challenge of, if I'm in a lower division, trying to get up into the high division, because we've spoken about in length about the high divisions should have better rewards. Like the other week when I did really well and I won that bargain basement boy, and I would have won a goalkeeper from Scotland in Div 4, like that shouldn't be happening. Like, But I am looking forward to the challenge of trying to get to the higher div and making sure that I'm not relegated. So I'm looking forward to that. I think and I hope that it's executed well.
Yeah, I think it will over time. I think it's going to take a while for the dust to settle. Like, only just now are people starting to get to the point where they've got 3 Div 1 teams. You know, if they've got a really good gallery, they should, for the most part, stay there and have 3 Div 1 teams, maybe a Div 2 team. You know, they shouldn't really ever drop too far below that. The interesting part has been like people kind of foregoing game weeks or entering lower divisions because they're like, okay, in 3 weeks' time, I have really good matchups. I'm going to try and like work it so that I don't get relegated out of Div 1. But obviously that will change in August, as they've said. If you miss a week, you get relegated automatically. I don't know whether they're going to stick to that or not. I don't know, but that will be very interesting because then it's like, if you just don't have a team or your goalkeeper's got the buy more cards, I guess.
Mm. Do you see any changes happening between now and August? Like, are they going to keep tweaking it? Because I know that they love being like, here it is, and we've announced our new model, but it's not quite ready, so we're going to keep making fixes on the run.
Yeah, I mean, they made some changes to the rewards recently, which is really good. Basically, I don't know if you saw it, Simon, but if you're in Division 1, at least for rares and limiteds, if you're in Division 1, I think, like, basically everyone gets a box, I think it was. Is it everyone gets a box?
You get a box, and you get a box,
No,
and you get a box.
That's right. It's not everyone gets a box. It's if you avoid relegation, you'll get a box. So it's like 50% get relegated, 50% get a box, and then obviously you get your cards if you're up in the higher places. So I think that's
cool.
really
So everyone
good.
gets a power up, you mean? Sorry?
Everyone gets a power up, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the fucking boxes. I haven't won anything yet, Simon, and I know you haven't. It is pretty demoralizing, I must say. And I know that like you shouldn't be expecting to win something every time, but they have taken away a pretty significant like chunk of prize pools in terms of being able to win a card. It's hard to win a card now. So then when you've got like your 3 boxes, yes, the hope is there, which is nice, but as we all know, hope is the most dangerous thing in the world in Sorare. So I don't know. We've talked about this so many times, but I hope that between now and August they sort out the boxes so there's at least something different other than level ups.
That's what I was going to say. It's the you can cop not winning a card, but it's you've got 3 or 4 boxes and you're going to go power up, power up, power up. It's the coins all over again, except you don't get coins thrown in your face. Like, it's even more boring. It's actually infuriating. Actually, it's like I said with the coins, Alster. It's like, hey, well done, mate. You tried. Not good enough. Here's a little slap in the face. It's not going to make you feel better. It doesn't do anything. It's just a little reminder for how shit you did this week.
Yeah. I mean, they're already kind of dabbling in it. I mean, they've started in the special weeklies. They've started putting mystery jerseys in the boxes. Surely they can do more of that. Someone said they had an idea of like ticket credits. So not tickets, because obviously like, and I mean, we're not going to, in no way, unless the A-League comes on board, we're not benefiting from this at all. But like for anyone in Europe or America, if they just gave you ticket credits that you could then go and use to buy, you know, Sorare's allocated tickets for a particular game near you, or if you're like, I'm going to be in New York next week, I'm going to use my ticket credits to get some free tickets. That, to me, sounded like a pretty good idea.
Yeah. Don't mind that.
We can go and see the Wellington Phoenix take on the Central Coast Mariners in front of 4,000 people in the middle of, you know, inner West Sydney on a Thursday night.
Well, you know, there's levels, Alster. You know, John Nellis is flipping the coin for Aston Villa versus Chelsea. We're flipping the coin for Brisbane Roar versus Perth Glory.
Yeah,
same thing.
I mean, yeah. When's our coin flipping day gonna come, Simon?
Yeah,
you know, I know John's been putting in the grind, but you know, so have we. We've been working hard.
And I think, you know, that's as we reflect, I guess, on another season that's come and gone. It's another season without any A-League. You know, our lives could be completely different. We could be on private jets, getting flown to, you know, Newcastle for the Newcastle Jets stellar matchup against Adelaide United. But yet here we are, bargain basement boys in our parents' bedroom.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if the if Sorare did onboard the A-League like tomorrow, now that there's like 3 games left in the season. That would be a very Sorare thing to do.
Just get that sweet finals utility.
Now, I mean, that raises a good question. Do we think there's any chance in the world that, come October when the season starts up again, that the A-League has any chance of coming on Sorare? I mean, we were always worried that it was going to crash the market, but the market's crashed, mate. The market's, it's done. It couldn't go any lower. Chuck some more teams on there.
Well, I was thinking that, like, will Sorare ever onboard a new league again? And probably not. There's probably no one to onboard, right? Or, like, I guess, like, the rest of the leagues that they already have.
Yeah, I think that's probably their priority, but I just feel like the A-League is just an absolute... It's the perfect kind of league for Sorare. It's like, it's a league that needs a bit more visibility, and this is the best way to do it. It's, it's a pretty, like, the parity in the league is pretty close. No one's, like, smashing everyone week to week. I don't know, it ticks all the boxes, really, but hey...
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, does it? They'll probably onboard the Indian Premier League and, Jason Cummings will be the greatest player on the platform all of a sudden.
I'll be down for that.
Shout out to Cumdog. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense, does it? Like, is Australia big in the crypto world? Like, do we have much presence?
I don't think Sorare really cares. I mean, they do, but I think they're trying to distance themselves from the crypto world as much as they can. So I don't know if that would really come into it. Like, with the cash wallet and stuff now, I think for any new users, they're like, hey, just come and buy your cards. Like, you can use crypto if you want, but it's no longer that, like, you need to know about crypto, brother, kind of situation.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess I was reflecting on the season that was. It actually was quite a big and tumultuous year at the Sorare Down Under podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, let's firstly kick it off. I quit Sorare. Like, that was pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, what a publicity stunt.
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
It's our most viewed episode. Was you quitting Sorare? Yeah, in tears.
Nothing like a good clickbait title to really get the people going.
That's it. Yeah. What can we do? What can we call this episode?
Suing Sorare.
Come and see Simon shows his dick to everyone.
No.
I think that would put people off.
Oh, you get some clicks. Don't worry. I know the Sorare community. But, sorry, I totally just derailed that one. Go on.
Yeah, no. But, I mean, in terms of Sorare moving forward, I think that the fact that I'm still here, I think is a good thing.
How are you feeling about it now? Like, as someone who has previously quit?
Yeah, so that's, like, I quit because of the financial commitment I had, and I just couldn't really justify that. Me being homeless for a good couple of months there, a great example of why.
Priorities.
I do think, though, at the moment, and maybe it's just the rose-tinted glasses on, but I do think that the gameplay is just as good as it's ever been. Like, obviously, there's a lot of changes, but, like, I still really enjoy it. Like, and I think with the changes, having to learn how to tackle that and us sort of workshopping different strategies, like, still love that side of the game. I love getting up and seeing the different scores from around the leagues, even if I don't own the players.
Yeah.
All the, like, key fundamentals of the game is there. And I think for me, like, when I look at it, I don't look at it at all as a investment vehicle. And I think, obviously we've spoken about Enlarge and everyone sort of had time to grieve with the fact that Sorare is never going to get back to what it was.
I'm still grieving.
But I think if you can accept that and, like, that's okay with you, then I think the product's still really good.
Yeah, it is a fun game. I don't know if the onboarding has whether there's, I'm sure there is actually, like, better onboarding stuff, but I just haven't seen it because I'm not a new user. But trying to get my mate to start recently, like, that was a bit worrying because, like, he understands that there's a good game there. He like loves football, loves his team, is excited going out and buying the players, but then, like, kind of, like we said a couple of weeks ago, like, kind of just have to rely on people to be kind of self-starters. It's not just really a pick up and play kind of game, that is tough. Once you're in, you're really in and you really love it. which I guess is a good segue to talk about Rivals, Simon. Do we think there's any chance that by the time we come back for season 3, Rivals is still alive? Let's make a case.
I mean, it has to be, doesn't it? They can't keep like chopping and changing the induction vehicle of Sorare. I mean, we had the rollout of like you'd play, what was it? You'd play some limiteds and you could win a rare, or like the progression
Kick
and
off,
that sort of got scrapped because that was confusing. I think they have to stick with it. I don't know. Rivals was fun.
It was fun, wasn't it?
Talk about the new toy that got thrown out of the cot after it got played with for a little bit, though.
I think we're probably just guilty of like, it was fun for us because it was new, but we know the OG game. We know what it's like to have actual cards that you own, skin in the game, actual rewards on the line, and we were just like, right, well, we're done with this new thing. Let's go back to the best part of Sorare, which is the actual game. So I guess you could putting on the rose-tinted glasses, you could say Rivals is doing perfectly well, because I'm sure there's plenty of people that play it, get excited by it, dip their toe into the actual game, buy a few cards, and now they're, degens like the rest of us.
One more time. Double or nothing.
And I would say, though, that it is also quite easy to pick up and play for a new user. Like a lot of fantasy games, like it takes quite a lot to get your head around. In terms of pick up and play at the pub, I think it's perfect. Honestly, I think the only reason I don't play it with my mates more is because I'm too good.
That's a very good point.
If I'm playing Sorare Rivals, like I think the whole point, like forget the onboarding side of it. I think if I'm playing Sorare Rivals with my mates at the pub, it's like, oh, cool, Arsenal Brighton's on, let's put a game in, winner gets their next drink shouted. I can't do that with my mates because I've got that inside knowledge.
Yeah. I have a authentic Japanese away jersey from the World Cup because I just demolished like 9 of my mates in a World Cup league, and because they all just didn't know what they were doing. They were like, "Yep, they're picking some guy that's on the bench for Poland." It's like, nah. Or they're picking players that they know but have no relevance in the SO5 arena.
Maybe that's the angle to make money on Sorare, is just target your mates' egos and be like, let's have a game. I know more about football, and then they'll be like, oh, all right, let's go. And they'll be like, let's play on this Sorare app. And you just clean up like a bunch of, you win free jerseys, free beers.
Yeah.
It's like your very own lunch wheel.
Start a real hustle, yeah. You like football? Yeah, well, come and play me this game show me how much you know about football. And, oh, by the way, the game has nothing to do with how good the footballers are.
Yeah.
How well do you know this specific fantasy football matrix? Yeah.
And I think the other great thing from what we were talking about before about Sorare is I touched on the utility with that lineup that won you a reward.
That's
if you have a Bored Ape and stuff, and like at the end of the day, you can love crypto. Like that's not exciting. At least with Sorare, like prices might keep going down. Hopefully they just stay the same. At least you get to like have some fun with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's I mean, apart from the blue chip NFTs, the Bored Apes and stuff are still very valuable. I actually looked on there the other day because I was like, oh, maybe now's a good time to buy a board. Oh no, they're still $48,000. Okay, so that didn't work out. I couldn't quite zig on the zag there. But I mean, I think people have pointed out the fact that over the course of the NFT kind of death and winter, and whether they're going to come back or not, Sorare has still done relatively well. Like, we have lost a lot of gallery value, but you can still earn money with it week to week. You can still buy and sell your cards for decent amounts of cash, compared to a lot of NFTs which have completely gone to zero. So hey, it could be worse.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day that the platform might have just lost its way a little bit in the attempt to become the worldwide game, to become like the next FIFA where everyone plays it, everyone knows about it. At the end of the day, I think Sorare is perfect for those of us that got in early, got to enjoy that high. Now we're like fully invested in it and get to play.
I still hope that Sorare. I mean, I don't think they'll ever get rid of the NFT technology. Like I think that'd be a real disaster if they decided to just take it off Web3 and make it a classic Web2 fantasy game. I think that would kill the platform. But I really do hope that because when we were in the peak of the NFT boom, Sorare was flying. They're getting all this investment, and everyone's talking about NFTs. Gary Vaynerchuk's telling you to quit your job and buy a fucking picture of a worm or whatever. I was thinking, like, what if Sorare partnered with FIFA and, like, the cards you own on Sorare, you could also, like, you know, have a special edition of on FIFA, and you could have a team, you know, like, have that connection, and NFTs allow you to do that. You know, if they have integration in FIFA, or they have integration with your social media, or all these different integration things are possible. And it's like, yeah, I own an Antoine Griezmann, and now I have him in FIFA. Like, you'd have to think that would increase the value of that NFT somewhat. If there's not only the Sorare fantasy demand, but there's also, like, all these people playing FIFA, and it's like, oh, you want the special edition Griezmann? Well, there's only 406 of them, you know?
And God, people spend a lot of money on FIFA packs.
Yeah.
Just direct them to the Sorare website and be like, oh, I'll just go buy his NFT so I get to use him in the game.
Totally. And I mean, you could potentially have some onboarding thing through a game like FIFA where, like, you can purchase, I don't know how you do this, but you could purchase, you know, Sorare cards through FIFA, and then that would then lead you on to, like, playing Rivals, and then, you know, you could somehow try and, I don't know, that's obviously pie in the sky, but my underlying point is I hope that the NFT boom comes back, because I think Sorare is in a really cool spot if it does.
Do you think the new changes are putting it in a good place? Like, in the past year or so, what are the good changes that have happened? Do you think the new structure is the path to the promised land, or?
I think the new structure certainly helps. I think the new season, old season thing really does. It's gonna mean that they can earn a lot more money and continue to be a viable company. You know, pretty much Sorare now can just turn on a tap by announcing a special weekly for a particular league with $100,000 prize money and sell a bunch of cards for 3 times what they were selling for yesterday. So,
See this? I got this selling corn. Comes out of the fucking ground.
I think that was a really good move, as much as it kind of, like, I don't know, people moaned about losing utility, which they haven't. So I really like that idea. It'll be interesting to see when they get rid of cap modes and that all that threshold money is freed up, how much the prize pools will change. Like, will they make the prize pools bigger so more people can win, or will they put it, like, really make it top heavy and have some big jackpot style prizes? Because I think in the glory days of Sorare, the jackpot was like winning an Mbappe. Mbappe's worth $20,000 for a rare, you know, like, that was the goal, and that was, like, life-changing money to win All-Star Rare. So people were buying, like, committing their fucking lives to win All-Star Rare because they're like, I'm going to do it. You know, they're never going to do it. So I think if they can work out a way so that there is that jackpot element there, then that could, you know, potentially raise all ships a little bit.
Yeah, I think, because, yeah, if the top prizes are, I don't know, Granit Xhaka, who's great, scoring all right, I'm sure, but it's like, really, like, are you gonna neglect your wife and kids to win a Granit Xhaka? Like,
I think again, it's that, like, trickle down economics of, like, if winning champion Div 1 in season gets you $10,000, then all of a sudden, like, you might not be like, I'm going to go all in and try and win that, but you might be like, I'm going to try and win a star in Classic, and that star should have more value because that star can help someone else win the $10,000, or it can help you win the 10. Like, it's that trickle down of, like, if the big jackpot is there, everyone across all levels is kind of more incentivized to keep trying to, like, you know, improve their gallery and win. And that was certainly the environment when we were in the boom times. Everyone was like, I'm going to win Mbappe, I'm going to do it. With my J-League boys, I'm going to do it.
Will, you're doing great.
Really well, Will. Well done.
Yeah. I tell you what, we really do jump through a lot of hoops for Sorare. You know, if a $10,000 Mbappe is the goal, to put in perspective, the other day at work, to kick off our season, we did a promo where you just had to kick a ball and hit a crossbar from about 25 meters out.
Piece of cake.
I feel like it was harder than it might sound, but at the end of the day, it's a crossbar challenge, to be honest. It's a glorified crossbar challenge. And,
Quite
you know,
literally.
some random Irish fella just on his walk for his lunch
John
break
Ellis.
was like, oh, it was free. So it was like, oh, I'll have a kick.
Yeah.
And he's won $10,000. You know, we're out here as Sorare managers being like, okay, so I've got to strategize, learn 5 completely new
Yeah.
leagues,
In 6 months'
plug
time.
them in, you know, have all 5 guys get multiple decisives all at the same time.
Yeah.
And I still might not win the 10 grand.
You should have, you should have been like, hey, you just won 10 grand. Do you know how else you could win 10 grand?
Putting ants' balls in your mouth.
What? All you got to do is, okay, so you got to get a MetaMask wallet, and then
So I'll buy a Jack Grealish because he's really good at football, right? He's world class.
No, you don't want to buy Jack Grealish. No. You want to buy a Sho Sasaki because he's very decisive, dangerous right now.
Best of both worlds, you see.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah.
Yeah. No, so I mean, your original question, like, I think the changes have all been good. Like you touched on it before, the fact that you can play your cards down a division now just means that, like, for people like myself who love the game, we can just enter more teams. Like I mentioned when I moved to Super Airs, that one thing that really kind of ground my gears a little bit was the fact that I only had like 3 teams to enter. And I was like, and I'm sure you feel the same week to week. You're like, oh, my striker didn't score. Yeah. Whereas when you've got 15 teams out, you're not going to win 15 times, but it's like buying more lottery tickets, you know? So being able to do that has definitely been good.
Yeah. What about the worst things? I mean, let's not go on a full rampage on Sorare, but
oh, I mean, well, I think between us starting up season 2 and now, like just the crash of the market has been pretty depressing. Like,
it counts with compounding interest and it's gone.
Yeah, it's still fun, but you look at those prices sometimes, you're like, oh man. Shit.
It was pretty funny the other day. You sent me an image of Francisco Conceição, who had signed back with Ajax. Porto. And you were like, oh, should have held him. And I was like, oh, yeah, I should have held him. And meanwhile, like, him and everyone else in my gallery has plummeted like 75%. You're right.
Oh, I've got real, like, I keep getting these flashes of, like, you know, someone offered me, you know, 0.6 for my, you know, Hugo Lloris, 4 months ago. Why didn't I take it? Like, but of course, I would have sold him for 0.6 and then gone and spunked that on something else. I wouldn't have held it till now. But, me looking back, I'm like, oh, I should have just sat on that ETH and just held it and I'd be king right now.
Yeah, it was pretty much me, I think, when I had my ETH that I couldn't get out of my wallet from selling my gallery, and then proceeded to buy my Asian boys for Champ Asia. And then over the next month, ETH just like tripled. I was like, oh, great.
So what you're saying is, if you want to succeed on Sorare, take your money off, put it in a wallet, write that password down, burn that piece of paper, and then just try and remember it. And then if you don't remember it, then in 6 years' time, it might come to you in a dream, and you'll log in and you'll be a millionaire.
If we get the password, there's millions of dollars in there. Elon Musk started a new type of money.
Who is Elon Musk?
He was an astronaut, Tommy.
I'm sorry if this is off topic, but I just have to bring it up now while it's fresh on my mind.
Please.
Can we also just have a little moment to appreciate the chaos that I've sort of brought to this podcast this year? I mean, obviously selling the gallery was a big thing. But I think more so than that, the fact that I went to sell my gallery and then transferred all of my money to the wrong account, and for a little while there, thought I'd send it off into the abyss of Romania, and just the stress and panic.
I love that you called me as well to be like, yeah, so I've sent it to this account, and then I put this code in. I was like, oh no, not that code. And you're like, oh, I've already done it. Oh, okay. Well, that might be gone forever then. It would have been very you to have sold your gallery after like 3 years of just, I mean, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, the money spent, and then you just send it off into the ether. Would have been a bit of a chef's kiss way to end things.
That would have been a real blow. That serves me right for trying to take things on. I was like, I'll be an individual boy. I'm not going to lean on Alistair.
You're not my dad.
You're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do. And then I think I also tried to do that
Daddy,
in Sorare.
My money's gone. I sent it to Romania. Oh, Simon, what are you going and done that for?
That would have been an interesting app. Talk about a YouTube title to bring the viewers in.
Yeah.
I just lost all my money.
My money's gone. It's all gone. Oh, I love it.
Oh.
I love it.
Chaos.
Oh,
Chaos.
Okay, where were we? Yeah, look,
Sorry.
I think Sorare's in a good spot. I think the pod's in a good spot too. I mean, I think this season, season 1 was, I don't even know what we were doing in season 1. Season 2, we've had the lunch wheel come on board. We've been on a few extra podcasts. We were pretty much, we're living in the future, so no one wanted us on, but we ended up getting on a few pods. What else? We've had the New Testament, of course, the Sorare commandments. What else have we done? We had with the conspiracy show. It was good fun. Yeah, I mean, what is there anything you think we should what should we carry on with the podcast? What have you kind of enjoyed from the podcasts over the last however long?
I mean, look, I haven't won many, but I have enjoyed the lunch wheel. Not for the viewers. We know that no one else likes listening to anyone, but as we know, when people do play the lunch wheel, they go, "Oh, that's actually pretty fun." So I definitely want to keep that going.
That reminds me. What time is this K-League game? Should we spin the lunch wheel now, play the K-League game, and then we'll spin the lunch wheel so we know what we're playing for? Let's just mix up the format a little bit. If it's something good, obviously you want to win. If it's something bad, the loser has to eat the bad thing.
Okay.
Because obviously we can't come back next week and spin the lunch wheel. So should we give
True.
it one last spin for season 2?
All right. Okay. Let's do it. I can't wait to be bitterly disappointed when KSY does nothing. And actually, will lineups be out? Let's check.
Oh yeah, that's a good
So
point.
do I have to
We've
do
got a little bit
anything
of
with this
time.
double game, or
No, you shouldn't have to. I think it should. That'll be just your luck if the mechanism breaks.
So it's just like they'll just take his score only if he scores better.
Yeah,
oh
that's
boy,
right.
I feel like I'm going down a real rabbit hole, going down the FC Seoul Twitter to find lineups, and it's porn.
Have you? I don't know if you have ever. No, you've never owned an Andre Blake, but there's a couple of guys in the Sorare Discord that own Andre Blake and are often looking for Andre Blake injury updates. Oh no, what's happened? Has he been rested?
I can't tell. The names all look the same.
Oh
what
man,
number is he?
Oh
God!
I didn't even think for a second that they would rest him, but of course
What's his
they
name?
probably will.
Kim Song Young or Ki Song Young?
He.
Oh, he's staying. Yep, he's the captain.
He's the captain. Yeah. Oh, you're scared.
I just saw a bunch of Lees and Keys, and I was freaking out.
Oh man, checking because I'm talk about Sorare Degen. I never wait for Sorare data to update. I always go to the team page, look at the graphic. The teams where the graphic is alphabetical or not. Oh man, the mini death that you experience. Look, manically searching for your guy's name. It's in Japanese. You're like, what the fuck?
It's funny though. I have been on the other side of the fence working in Clubland. Now we want to get as many clicks as possible. So when we put team lists out, we have to be as incognito as possible, and just so imagine if in my jobs someone's relying on their fantasy player and I'm just putting couple of big changes, and it's it's just the reserves drop off the bench, but you're oh my, is that my guy? Is he played?
I often think
just
about
use a photo of him.
I often think about playing the rugby league fantasy game that you and I participate in, and obviously it used to mean a lot more to us than it does now that we've got Sorare and we've got something on the line, who's playing fantasy for nothing. And like the teams get announced on Tuesday for the weekend's games, and you're like, well, I know, and I'm like, wow, but we didn't even know what we had to know the teams 4 days in advance. I mean, what a gift!
And to be able to make changes, it was bliss. All right, have you got this lunch wheel ready?
All right, the last lunch wheel of this season. Are you ready, Simon? Can you see the lunch wheel?
I can. It's been wild.
Let's go. Oh, is it gonna be?
No.
Oh. Oh, we were almost so close to the jar of mayonnaise.
God, so loud. That would have been so fitting.
It would have been a great way to end it. But instead, it's the relatively boring but absolutely delicious chicken and chips. So I guess we're both playing for the chicken and chips tonight. Can KSY bring you your first proper reward of the season, plus a succulent, delicious meal?
Well, I can't wait to find out. Sorry, Alistair. I got a little bit lost in thought because there's actually been something I want to talk to you about. And look, it's not me, it's you, I guess you could say. It's been a long while coming, and I think it's for the best of both of us. Put us out of our misery. It's just not been working. I think it's time, Alistair, that we put the underdogs down.
Oh, yeah, they suck, haven't they? They've really. The underdog, David, has not beaten Goliath once this season. David has had the shit kicked out of him every single time.
I don't think we could have picked a more mediocre, middle-of-the-road team.
Yeah, Wolfsburg, I mean, we had high hopes, didn't we? I remember, like, the pin. All we wanted was a pin. I don't think I won... I think I won like 3 rewards in the entire season, and they were all like tier 5 DMPs worth 60 cents. We didn't even get enough money for a Wolfsburg pin. It's been a real letdown.
Collection.
You want to hear something depressing, Simon? The other day I was like, well, I'm done with these underdogs. I'll see if I can sell my Wolfsburg collection. I was like, full Wolfsburg collection? That's got to be worth something. $60. $60 for the entire thing. I was like, I'll just keep them then, I guess.
Yeah.
Makes no sense to sell these boys. So now I don't think the underdog. We do have to put them down. We're going to have to say our goodbyes. But that's not rule out picking a new underdog team for the new season. Just because Wolfsburg have let us down doesn't mean that we can't be pleasantly surprised by another. And the beauty of the Sorare Crash is that collections are cheaper than ever. So potentially, going out and buying that next collection shouldn't cost us an arm and a leg. So let's not say completely goodnight to the underdogs concept. I think the concept of picking an underdog every week has just been a complete waste of time. I don't think anyone cares about those teams that we pick. They never win, of course. So we'll have none of that in the next season.
No, don't you worry. I mean, we did the live Chukaritsky tweet, live tweeting during the game. If that 6-0 drubbing wasn't enough to be like, maybe this is not going to work, this concept.
But hey, I mean, we learned a lot about Wolfsburg. We bought some jerseys. We bought a collection. It was fun times. It's just that they completely let us down over the course of the season. But hey, I'm willing to believe.
It's just crazy how much collections have dropped off. I mean, that was the talk of the town at the time. But I think, Alistair, it's official. Wolfsburg, you're dead to us.
You're dead to us. It's been fun. Well, it hasn't. It has been really mediocre.
No, it actually has been quite miserable.
Oh, shit.
Who wins in a fight? The Wolfsburg stack or my poor SO5 ability to put in lineups?
Oh, mate, you've been killing me since you've come back with this new Zen attitude of yours. So Zen, in fact, that you're just like not putting teams in. I just... Have you entered a St. Louis stack once this year?
Yeah, they just never do well. And to be fair,
I don't think you have.
3 of them don't play. I need to buy more boys.
Okay.
To be fair, mate, I have the goalkeeper, the defender, and Klaus, who like sometimes starts. That's all I've got.
What about Lowen? Lewin?
Not playing.
Is he injured? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Spend more money.
But I should have played Berkey when I would have won with my champ boys, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
All right. Well, we've hit the hour. I think it's been a fitting last episode. Like I said, we'll be popping up from time to time. You'll still see plenty of us over the next 6 or so months. 6 months? No. How long's the off season? 3 months?
Yeah,
Not that
honestly.
long. I've got to go and give birth.
Show to the mother. That's enough.
Once I've done that, and the baby's old enough to get to work in the factory, I'll be back on the podcast grind.
Oh, so we'll see him in 6 months. You know, are we gonna have a third co-host?
Wow. What a question. Maybe.
So you completely lagged out there. I missed what you said.
It wouldn't be the last episode of our season if we didn't get a bit of lag, a bit of a frozen Simon for 3 seconds, and then just awkwardness, followed by, are we getting a third co-host? Yep, sure. Send your resumes to Sorare and under it.
I meant the baby.
Oh, she'll be rubbish. No football knowledge whatsoever.
No, yeah, useless.
Yeah, I can put her up against the mic and she can fart. I don't know.
You're gonna be teaching her how to set up lineups and use lineup builders before you teach her how to read, write.
Yeah, I'll be like, can you say Hans Vernacken?
What's that? Oh my god, Alster! She's gonna say her first words.
Show is dust. Show is not dust.
Oh, all right. Well, it's been wild. We'll catch you guys in a little bit. I'm sure you'll still be seeing us pop up here and there. But in the meantime, may your lineups be plentiful. May the rewards be, filling up your basket, and just keep smashing it out.
For anyone out there with a KSY Ki-Sung Young card in action tonight, you're getting 100. 100 is coming. Anything less than 100, Simon, and we quit Sorare, I think.
If anything less than 100, and we take a 3-month sabbatical.
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing it. I'll do it too.
I've never been more serious in my life.
Man of my word. Alrighty. For the last time for a little while. See you, mates.